missing out on a lot. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instructed us in many places with ibadat, with dhikr, with tasbihat. With regards to dhikr, Allah said, dhikran kaseera, kaseera, kaseera. If we look at our life, last 24 hours, last 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, we will notice that let alone dhikr kaseer, we're not even doing dhikr qaleel. Look at our Salafi Salihin, how much dhikr they used to do. How they used to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's halat, Ummul Mu'mineen Aisha radiyallahu anha says, Kana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam yadhkurullaha ala kulli ahyanihi. Rawahu Ibn Majah. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam har waqt Allah ko yaad किया करते रहते थे. कोई लम्हा जिक्र के बगैर नहीं जाता था. अल्लाह को अपने दिल में बसाए हुए थे. हर वक्त ध्यान रहता था. तवज्जो अल्लाह की तरफ रहती थी. His mind was attached and connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we see Sahabai Kiram Ridwanullahi alayhi majma'een as well. Their whole life revolves around Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's ahkam, Allah's worship, ibadat, tilawat, zikrullah. At night they are up for hours reading Quran Shareef. They had seen Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam standing for long hours, especially in Ramzan, especially in I'tikaf, last Ashara. He used to spend a whole night in ibadat. From Isha till Fajr he would be busy in ibadat, worship. إذا دخل العشر الأواخر من رمضان شد الميزر وأحيا ليله وأيقظ أهله. Because the Ramadan is time for special worship, increasing our ibadah. Even on other nights, Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam never missed his tahajjud, to the extent that ulama kiram say it looks like tahajjud was wajib on him. It's nafil for others, but it was wajib on Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam because he never missed it. Allah said, وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ بِهِ نَافِلَةً لَكَ عَسَىٰ أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. Meaning, if you want to get to Maqam Mahmood, you'll have to pray tahajjud. You'll have to work hard, effort. Huzur is told to work hard to get to Maqam Mahmood. Who are we? He was the most beloved of Allah, and still Allah is telling him, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, qumil layla illa qalila, nisfahu aw inqus minhu qalila, aw zid alayhi wa rattilil Qur'ana tartila, inna sanulqi alayka qawlan thaqila, inna nashi'ata al-layli hiya ashaddu wat'an wa aqwamu qila, inna laka fi an-nahari sabhan tawila, wadhkur isma rabbika wa tabattal ilayhi tabtila. You have to pray tahajjud. You have to do some zikr azkar. Turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember Him at all times. Never ever forget Him. Whatever Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam did throughout his 24 hours, throughout his whole life, was for the sake of Allah. Lillah, fillah, billah. He had Allah in his heart and mind at all times. If we can get to that stage, then we are successful. This is the sunnah and way of life of our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We see Sahabai Kiram, Tabi'een, Tabi'i Tabi'een exerting themselves in ibadat and worship. They would also stand in prayer at night. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam comes in the masjid and he sees Sahaba praying tahajjud, nawafil, is really happy. He passes by Salim Mawla Abi Huzaifa and he says, MashaAllah, you read very good Quran. He passes by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu and he says, your voice is like the voice of Dawood alayhi salam. He passes by Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Umar. He calls them over later. He said, Abu Bakr, I passed by you and you were reading very softly. Why? And he said, Ya Rasulullah, inni asma'tu man unaji. I read to that being who was hearing me. Allah hears everything, even my soft voice. He said to Umar, you're reading so loudly. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, أوقظ الوسنان وأطرد الشيطان. If someone around me is dozing off, I wake him up. And if shaitan tries to approach me, I drive him away. That's why I was reading loudly. So Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Abu Bakr, you raise your voice a little bit, and Umar, you lower your voice a little bit. So Sahaba as well, reading Quran Shareef, spending time in ibadat. And here we are, staying asleep till late morning, sometimes missing Fajr as well. We don't realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes to the earthly heaven during the last portion of the night, and He calls out, is there anyone asking me so that I may give him, asking for rizq so that I may provide sustenance for him, asking for forgiveness that I may forgive him, anyone in distress that I may remove his distress and affliction. Allah is calling out. But here we are snoring our heads off. Such beadbi and gustakhi to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to understand that we have been created for ibadat and worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The more ibadat we do, the better for us. May Allah give us tawfiq to understand this. Then we need to do dhikr of Allah. Allah's dhikr. Allah likes His dhikr. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Afzalu dhikri la ilaha illallah. Best form of dhikr is La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. He said, أكثروا من قول لا إله إلا الله قبل أن يحال بينكم وبينها. Say La ilaha illallah as much as possible before a barrier comes between you and La ilaha illallah. Sahaba asked, what is that barrier, Ya Rasulullah? And he said, Al-Maut, death. Because once you die, you can't say La ilaha illallah. You're in your qabr, your amal nama is closed, finished. You can't add anything in there now. You should have said it while you were up there. Down here, no. No namaz, no tilawat, no dhikr, no la ilaha illallah, nothing. If we hear about mashayikh reading Quran in their qabr, that is for sure. That is not for increasing their thawab or adding in their amal nama. They love namaz, they love Quran, that's why they go in the qabr, they busy themselves in there. But for amal thawab, you have to do it while your eyes are open, while you're on the ground, not when you go in the ground. So, أكثروا من قول لا إله إلا الله. Nabi Pak sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, جددوا إيمانكم. Revive your iman, refresh your iman. ईमान को ताज़ा करो. ईमान पुराना हो जाता है, बोसीदा हो जाता है. पुरानी चीज को जरा रिफ्रेश करना पड़ता है. फरमाया ईमान को ताज़ा करो. كيف نجدد إيماننا? How can we revive and refresh our iman? And he said, أكثروا من قول لا إله إلا الله. If you say La ilaha illallah a lot, the iman will be revived and it will become fresh. Every day read this kalma as much as possible. Men, women, young, old, especially in the month of Ramadan, which is just around the corner. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, واستكثروا فيه من 4 خصال خصلتان ترضون بهما ربكم وخصلتان لا غنى بكم عنهما فأما اللتان ترضون بهما ربكم فشهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وتستغفرونه وأما اللتان لا غنى بكم عنهما فتسألون الله الجنة وتتعوذون به من النار. In Ramadan, do 4 things abundantly. 2 to please your Rabb, and 2 which you desperately need. The 2 to please your Rabb are saying kalma la ilaha illallah with kasrat, excessively, abundantly, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. And number 2, seeking forgiveness from Allah. These 2 will please your Rabb. And the 2 which you desperately need is you beg Allah for Jannat and beg Him to protect you from the fire of Jahannam. So he said in Ramadan, increase your La ilaha illallah. Say La ilaha illallah as much as you can. Afzalul Dhikr is La ilaha illallah. And how powerful is La ilaha illallah? Oh, very powerful. Very powerful, very powerful. Many ahadith say, if La ilaha illallah, if the 7 heavens and the 7 earths were put in one scale, And La ilaha illallah in the other scale, La ilaha illallah would outweigh the 7 heavens and the earth. Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam said to his son on his deathbed, Ya bunayya, alayka bi la ilaha illallah, fa inna as-samawati as-sab'a wal ardina as-sab'a law wudi'at fi kiffatin wa wudi'at la ilaha illallah fi kiffatin la rajahat bihinna la ilaha illallah. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam said, Oh Allah, give me some special zikr by which I can remember you, I can ask of you. And he said, Musa, say La ilaha illallah. And he said, Ya Allah, everybody says this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Oh Musa, you don't realize the value of La ilaha illallah. If La ilaha illallah was in one scale, 7 heavens in the other scale, La ilaha illallah would outweigh the 7 heavens and the earth. Imagine a kafir of 70, 80 years, kufr, shirk, nafarmani, ma'asiyat, disobedience, whole life filled with disobedience and kufr. But at the end he says La ilaha illallah with conviction, with belief and yaqeen, all his lifelong sins will be forgiven. That's how powerful La ilaha illallah is. Yesterday I got a message from one of my friends, this revert, something like 92-year-old lady. She embraced Islam and she was on her deathbed with stage 4 cancer. Said, Maulana Sahib, make dua, she dies with Iman, Alhamdulillah, she's a very good lady. May Allah grant her death with Iman. 92-year-old, embraced Islam, and within a few days, bichari, she is going. Many cases you must have heard. So, Zikrullah is very powerful. And, you know, when you busy yourself in Zikr Azkar, we hear about Karamat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses those who do Zikr Kasir, always busy themselves with remembrance of Allah. You know, Karamat we hear, we think, I don't know what we think about Karamat. It is a special honor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mashayikh, how they used to busy themselves in the Zikr of Allah, and Allah would bless them with so much. Allah would provide for them. Allah would take care of them. Allah would look after them. Special rahmat and mercy would be showering on them. We hear about the Turkish earthquake, Syria. May Allah have mercy on those who have passed away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove the sufferings of those who are suffering. May Allah provide for them. May Allah take care of both countries. May Allah take care of all Muslims around the world. We read the name of this Turkish sheikh who was busy in his tahajjud. He prayed his tahajjud and he had tasbih in his hand and he was reading his tasbih and the earthquake happened, everything fell. His hand was out there and his tasbih was in his hand. He died with the tasbih in his hand while he was doing zikr. We hear about the karamat of this young boy. Yesterday someone said on our group, he was brought out after 112 hours, nearly 5 days. So they asked him, how did you survive without food, water? And he said, this person in white clothes used to come and give me food and drink. Farishta, angel, Allah sends. Because his life was still there, his time has not yet come. Allah took care of him. So Allah is Allah. Allah takes care of His people. If we turn to Allah, if we become Allah wali, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after us. But we have to take that initial step first. We have to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do His zikr as much as possible. May Allah give us tawfiq to do so. For zikr, our mashayikh kiram, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took a lot of work from them. From the Salasil, Qadiriyya, Hazrat Pirani Pir Sayyiduna Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullah alayhi. Chishtiya, Hazrat Khaja Mu'inuddin Chishti Ajmeri Rahmatullah alayhi. And Naqshbandiyya, Hazrat Khaja Bahauddin Naqshband Rahmatullah alayhi. And Sohrawardiyya, Sheikh Shihabuddin Sohrawardi Rahmatullah alayhi. These are 4 famous Salasil. There are other Salasil as well, like Silsile Rifa'iyya in Africa, Sayyid Ahmad Rifa'i Rahmatullah alayhi. They used to prescribe zikr according to the need of the times. Hazrat Khaja Bahauddin Naqshband Rahmatullah alayhi used to give silent zikr because of the hadith Khairul Zikr al Khafiyyu. He used to instruct muraqabah. Hazrat Sheikh Shihabuddin Suhrawardi Rahmatullah alayhi used to give zikr of Asma-e Husna. When some murid was to come, he would ask him to read the 99 names, repeat with him. And then on whichever name his heart clicked, he would say that this, your Islah is in this name, you do wird of this name. And if 99 names finish and it didn't click, he said, go to somewhere else. You can't benefit from me. Hazrat Khaja Mu'inuddin Chishti Ajmiri Rahmatullah alayhi silsila do zikr loudly. And Hazrat Pirani Pir Rahmatullah alayhi Qadiri silsila, they do zikr collectively. Everybody together joining the Shaykh and repeating the zikr with him. So these are salasil, ways of doing zikr. As long as something is within the framework of Sharia, not out of the framework, within the rules and regulations of Sharia, there is no harm in it. So these salasil, they saw this is the need of the time. According to the need, they prescribe these azkar and awrad. And when you practice on these azkar daily, then slowly you progress and you gain the qurb of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know, this qurb, sometimes people say, Mawla Sahab, I've been doing zikr for so long, I can't see any benefit, I can't notice anything. But you don't always notice everything. Your child grows up, do you see him every day growing up? Do you measure him how many centimeters he's gone? But you know he's growing up. And within a few years, oh, mashallah, Pehlwan ban gaya. So you can't notice everything. You know, this person said, Hazrat, I've been doing zikr for some time, I can't notice anything. He said, "Bhai, eat this mithai." He ate the mithai. Now, do you know where that mithai is gone? What part has gone in your body? In which area? Where is provided vitamin and protein and whatever happens? I can't notice that. But you can't notice what is happening inside your body. You eat food and it goes, it nourishes you, it keeps you strong and healthy. Similarly, when we do zikr, even though we might not notice the benefit, but it's happening. Your ruhaniyat, your spirituality is enhancing, it's strengthening. Whenever you do zikr, you become stronger. So don't look for karamat and kushuf and this and that. No, things happen. Just keep doing what you need to do. So our mashayikh, my shaykh, Hazrat Aqdar Shaykhul Hadith, Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Yusuf Mutala Sahab, Navarallahu Marqadahu Wabarlada Masjahu, taught me this tasbih of Bara tasbih, the Wazda tasbih. 200 times kalma tayyiba, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. 400 times focusing on the heart, illallah, illallah, illallah. And 600 times Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah. And then lastly 100 times Allah, 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 Allah. And we do these zikrs, very beneficial. As I mentioned, afzalu zikri, la ilaha illallah. Best form of zikr. And then illallah is part of the kalma. It's just to focus on the heart and bring our mind and heart and connect it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, attach it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That I want nothing but Allah. Oh Allah, I only want you, nothing else in my heart. And then Allahu Allah, Allahu Allah. And then finally Allah, Allah, Allah. So inshallah this will be really beneficial. It will take maximum 15-20 minutes. We do this zikr and then we'll have short dars. And then inshallah dua inshallah by Hazrat Sufi Sahib inshallah. ठीक है, यहीं पर थोड़ा जिक्र कर लेते हैं. And whilst we are doing जिक्र, वहाँ से एक किताब भी यहीं करीब में ही ले लो, यहीं से दर्स दे देंगे. क्या ख्याल है? ताकि सबको हटना ना पड़े, सिर्फ किताब इधर आ जाए, टिपाई इधर आ जाए. ठीक है, अभी जिक्र कर लेते हैं, फिर ले लेना यहाँ पर. लो डंडो ले आओ, कौन से बैग में से ले बैग. जैसी मर्जी, एक खुली रहने दो, एक बंद कर दो, थोड़ा सा उजाला रहे. اللهم صل على محمد.
Yeah, that's fine.
अपने दिल पर तवज्जो करें और ये सोचें कि मेरे दिल में जो चीज़ें नहीं होनी चाहिए उनको मैं निकाल के बाहर फेंक रहा हूँ और अल्लाह को अपने दिल में ला रहा हूँ। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह। और इस तरह से ज़िक्र करेंगे तो इंशाअल्लाह गैरुल्लाह को दिल से निकाल कर फेंक देंगे और अल्लाह को अपने दिल में बिठाएंगे। तो ये थोड़ी देर के लिए करेंगे और बीच में थोड़ी थोड़ी देर बाद मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम भी पढ़ लेंगे। अल्लाह पाक हमें हमेशा ज़िक्र की पाबंदी नसीब फरमाए, ज़िक्र की बरक़ात और ज़िक्र के अनवार नसीब फरमाए। क़ाल रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अफ़ज़लुज़ ज़िक्रि ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि व अला आलिहि व अस्हाबिहि व बारक व सल्लम तस्लीमन कसीरन कसीरा। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 मुहम्मदुर रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम। ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह 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 ला इलाहा إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا إلا الله 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 الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. الله 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 لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. هو الحبيب الذي ترجى شفاعته لكل هول من الأهوال مقتحم. الله حاضري الله ناظري الله معي الله حاضري الله ناظري الله معي الله حاضري الله ناظري الله معي. أستغفر الله أستغفر الله. In one riwayat, it is said that Hazrat Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, when completing his khatm of Quran, would gather his family and read the final surahs and then make dua. Since I have come here before as well, many of the appas are connected to me, many friends over here, you are all like family to me, friends. So my khatam is happening as well, so I'm going to read the 3 last surahs and then inshallah we'll make dua, short dua, and then we'll do the dars. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الف لام میم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون صدق الله العظيم. درود شریف پڑھ لیں. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك اللهم لك الحمد ولك الشكر اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما اللهم افتح أقفال قلوبنا بذكرك وأنعم علينا بنعمتك وأسبغ علينا من فضلك واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين واجعلنا من عبادك الذاكرين الشاكرين الصابرين واجعلنا من أوليائك المخلصين المنتخبين الغر المحجلين اللهم افتح علينا فتوح العارفين اللهم اجعلنا نخشاك كأننا نراك أبدا اللهم ربنا اجعل كل واحد منا لك ذكارا لك شكارا لك رهابا لك مطواعا لك مخبتا إليك أواها منيبا ربنا تقبل توبتنا واغسل حوبتنا وأجب دعوتنا وثبت حجتنا وسدد ألسنتنا واهد قلوبنا واسلل سخيمة صدورنا يا رب العالمين اللهم لا تؤمنا مكرك ولا تنسنا ذكرك ولا تهتك عنا سترك ولا تجعلنا من الغافلين اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا الجنة بشفاعة القرآن اللهم اجعل القرآن العظيم ربيع قلوبنا ونور صدورنا وجلاء أحزاننا وذهاب همومنا وغمومنا وكروبنا يا رب العالمين اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار واجعله لنا حجة يا رب العالمين يا أرحم الراحمين محض اپنے فضل و کرم سے ہم سب کی مغفرت فرما دیجیے پوری امت کی مغفرت فرما دیجیے آپ کی مہربانی اور توفیق سے آپ کا پاک نام لیا اس کو قبول فرمائیے ٹوٹا پھوٹا ذکر قبول فرمائیے ہم سب کو ذکر کی برکتیں نصیب فرمائیے ذکر کی انوار نصیب فرمائیے ذکر کی روشنی عطا فرمائیے ذکر کے ذریعے ہمارے قلوب کو منور فرمائیے ہمارے قلوب کو مجلہ مصفہ مزکہ اور منور فرما دیجیے ذکر پر پابندی نصیب فرمائیے یا ارحم الراحمین ذکر والی زندگی نصیب فرمائیے اور ذکر والی موت عطا فرمائیے مرتے وقت بھی ہماری زبان پر آپ کا نام نامی اس میں گرامی جاری رکھیے کلمہ طیبہ لا الہ الا اللہ محمد الرسول اللہ پر موت نصیب فرمائیے پروردگار عالم ہماری پوری پوری مغفرت فرما دیجیے پچھلے تمام گناہوں کو بخش دیجیے اور آئندہ ہر قسم کے گناہوں سے حفاظت فرمائیے کہ اللہ تمام ذاکرین اور ذاکرات کو اپنے محبوب اور مقبول بندوں اور بندیوں میں شامل فرمائیے پروردگار عالم اللہ پوری امت کے احوال کو درست فرمائیے پریشان حالوں کی پریشانیاں ختم فرمائیے بیماروں کو شفا عطا فرمائیے مرحومین کی مغفرت فرمائیے مظلومین کو ظلم سے نجات عطا فرمائیے زلزلہ میں جو سیریا اور ترکی میں مسلمان شہید ہو گئے سب کی مغفرت فرمائیے جو زخمی ہیں ان کے لیے علاج معالجے کے اسباب نصیب فرمائیے یا اللہ جو بیمار ہیں ان کو شفا عطا فرمائیے معصوم بچوں پر بیوہ عورتوں پر بوڑھوں پر رحم فرما دیجیے جو چیریٹی والے ان کی مدد کر رہے ہیں ان کے لیے امداد آسان فرمائیے ترکی کے اردوغان صاحب کی حفاظت فرمائیے ان کی کیبنٹ کی حفاظت فرمائیے ان کے لیے ملک سنبھالنا آسان فرمائیے یا اللہ پوری دنیا نے ان کو الگ کر دیا ہے آپ ان کو الگ نہ فرمائیے آپ ان کی کفالت فرمائیے. یا اللہ شام کے مسلمانوں پر رحم فرمائیے, وہاں کے ظالم بدماش گنڈے سے نجات عطا فرمائیے. یا اللہ خبیث بدماشوں کے حق میں ہدایت ہے تو نصیب فرمائیے, نہیں ہے تو خبیثوں پر اپنا قہر اور غضب نازل فرمائیے. ان کے دماغوں کو معوف فرمائیے, ان کی اسکیموں کو فیل فرمائیے, اور یا اللہ اہل سنت کو یا اللہ ان سے نجات عطا فرمائیے. یا اللہ اہل حق پر رحم فرمائیے. پروردگار عالم ہماری ٹوٹی پھوٹی دعائیں قبول فرمائیے. پروردگار عالم اس وقت ہم جس ادارے میں بیٹھے ہیں اس ادارے کی حفاظت فرمائیے. یہاں پر جو دروس ہوتے ہیں وہ قبول فرمائیے. جو اساتذہ کرام پڑھاتے ہیں, استانیاں پڑھاتی ہیں, ان سب کو جزائے خیر عطا فرمائیے. ان کی محنتیں قبول و مقبول فرمائیے. ان کے لیے اس میرے ثمرات باعث ترقی درجات بنائیے. اس ادارے کو پورے علاقے والوں کے لیے ہدایت کا ذریعہ بنائیے, مرکز رشد و ہدایت بنائیے. جو بچیاں پڑھتی ہیں ان کی پڑھائی میں برکت عطا فرمائیے, علم نافع عطا فرمائیے, عمل صالح عطا فرمائیے. یا اللہ اور یا اللہ ہمارے حضرت فرمایا کرتے تھے ہر ایک کو اپنے اپنے وقت پر حسن خاتمہ عطا فرمائیے, اور ان بچیوں کو بہترین رشتہ بھی عنایت فرمائیے, اور ان کے فیوچر کو مستقبل کو بہتر بنائیے, اور ان کی ساری ضرورتیں پوری فرمائیے. اللہ جو حضرات ذکر میں شرکت کے لیے آئے ہیں ان سب کو بھی جزائے خیر عطا فرمائیے. ہماری ٹوٹی پھوٹی دعائیں سن لیجیے. حضرت صوفی صاحب کی زندگی میں بھی برکت نصیب فرمائیے. آپ کے علوم فیوز سے سب کو مستفید فرمائیے. ربنا تقبل منا انک انت السمیع العلیم تب علینا انک انت التواب الرحیم. صلی اللہ وسلم علی سیدنا محمد و آلہ وصحبہ اجمعین برحمتک اللہ. اچھا بھائی ہم پیچھے ہی آ جاتے ہیں, ادھر منہ کر لو, آپ ادھر وہیں بیٹھ جائیں, اور پھر 2 رکعت اشراق پڑھ لیں گے, انشاءاللہ مقبول حج عمرے کا ثواب ملے گا. فیصل سوری فار آل دا ٹربل ہے, کہیں ضرورت نہ تھی نا, ضرورت ہے. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم, نحمدہ ونصلی علی رسولہ الکریم, اما بعد. یہاں یہ دیکھیے ٹیکنالوجی کی برکت ہے. ڈیو ٹو دا برکت آف ٹیکنالوجی ہمارے یہاں ذمہ دار مولانا اختر صاحب, اور کیا نام مولانا ہے, معین صاحب, اور آپاؤں کی طرف سے ہم کو حکم ہوا کہ آپ کے مشکات شریف کی درس میں ہم کو بھی شامل کیجیے. تو آئی ٹیچ مشکات شریف فرام HLC رحیمی اکیڈمی ان دا ایوننگ. میرا گھنٹہ ہے 6 till 5:30. تو ہم یہ مکسلر آن کر دیتے ہیں تو یہ بچیاں جو ہیں ہمارے ساتھ کنیکٹ ہو جاتی ہیں. تو الحمدللہ ہمارے لیسنز چل رہے ہیں. ابھی ہم پہنچے ہیں حدیث نمبر 334, باب و آداب الخلا. تو آج کا لیسن جو ہے انہوں نے یہاں طے کیا کہ ان کو یہاں پر پڑھانا ہے, اس لیے تھوڑا سا سبق پڑھ لیتے ہیں. For those who have not studied by us, we will read. بھائی حضرت صوفی صاحب کو آگے بلاؤ نا. حضرت صوفی صاحب پشت پناہی کرو, صوفی صاحب کی جگہ کرو. صوفی صاحب تشریف لے آئیے. یہ تکیہ یہ نہیں مجھے طبیعت پڑھائی چل رہا صوفی صاحب سب. For those who have not studied hadith by me, and perhaps they might do so in future, we read the hadith مسلسل بالأولية. عن عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن تبارك وتعالى ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء وفي رواية ارحموا ترحموا رواه أبو داود والترمذي. Your tasalsul is there, we'll explain the hadith maybe when we start. But now we read today's chapter. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Babu Adabil Khala. الفصل الأول عن أبي أيوب الأنصاري رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أتيتم الغائط فلا تستقبلوا القبلة ولا تستدبروها ولكن شرقوا وغربوا متفق عليه. قال الشيخ الإمام محيي السنة رحمه الله هذا الحديث في الصحراء وأما في البنيان فلا بأس لما روي عن عبد الله بن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال ارتقيت فوق بيت حفصة رضي الله عنها لبعض حاجتي فرأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقضي حاجته مستدبر القبلة مستقبل الشام متفق عليه. This chapter is about the adab and etiquettes of privacy. Mullah Ali Qari Rahmatullah Alayhi says, adab is plural of adab. And adab is isti'malu ma yuhmadu qawlan wa fi'lan. To use those things which are praiseworthy by way of words and by way of deeds. Meaning to say things which are praiseworthy and to do things which are praiseworthy is adab. Normally we translate adab as etiquette, adab. So our shariat is beautiful. We have been taught not only the faraz, but also the wajib, the sunnah, the mustahab, and the adab, and which is etiquette. So we have etiquettes of even doing istinja as well. So Hazrat Sahib Mishkat is mentioning over here adabul khala. Hazrat Shaykh Yunus Sahib says adab, the hukm of adab is that there is sawab upon doing it, but no iqab and no punishment if you don't do it. But there will be sawab if you hold on to the adab. And Hazrat Shah Abdul Aziz Muhaddis Dehlavi Rahmatullahi alayhi has said something really alarming. He said, Man tahawana bil adab, tahawana uqiba bi hirmani sunnah. ومن تهاون بالسنة عوقم بحرمان الفرائض ومن تهاون بالفرائض يخشى عليه الكفر أو كما قال. If you are lazy and lax with adab and etiquettes, then the punishment you will get is you will leave the sunnats. And if you are lazy with matters of sunnat, then the punishment you will get is you will miss faraiz. And if you start missing faraiz, then the punishment is you might lose your iman. So you see, adab, even small adab and etiquettes are also very, very important. So istinja also has certain adab. Khala, it means khali jagah, empty space. So from there, it is used for privacy because they used to go for istinja to some private place. In those days, they had, a Baytul Khala in their homes, so they had to go outside. So they would go on the outside, look for some place, either behind a rock or on a high place or a lower place, and they would relieve themselves there. So this is why istinja place is called Al-Khala. Now, Adabul Khala, adab of istinja. For example, one of the first adab mentioned over here is when you sit down for istinja, don't face the qibla or keep your back towards the qibla. And before you enter the toilet, read the dua. Bismillah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuth wal khaba'is. And enter with your left foot and exit with your right foot. And clean yourself thoroughly. In those days they used to use stones. So how many stones to use? Imam Shafi Rahmatullah Alayhi said 3 is wajib. Hanafiya say inqa, and cleaning is wajib. Whether it's with 3 or 5 or 7 or more or less, main thing is to wipe yourself properly. Then istinja could be with 3 in 3 ways. Bil hajar wal ma, or bil ma, or bil hajar. That is the ranking according to that as well. Best is to use the stone and then water. Second best is just water. And third is just stone. And in our days, instead of stone, we have tissues. Tissue is good as well. Hazrat Maulana Yusuf bin Nuri Rahmatullah Alayhi used to say, अंग्रेज की कोई चीज़ अच्छी नहीं लगती सिवाय एक टिश्यू के, क्योंकि इससे तहारत बहुत अच्छी हो जाती है. कि अंग्रेज ने ये चीज़ अच्छी ईजाद की है कि टिश्यू से तहारत बहुत अच्छी हो जाती है. तो tissue is good as well. But if you wipe yourself with tissue, then first with tissue and then wash with water as well. That is better. And these are some of the adab which are mentioned over here. Someone, tried to put Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu down, put him to shame, and said to him, Salman, allamakum nabiyukum kulla shayin hatta al-khira. Your prophet teaches you everything to the extent that tumko hagna bhi sikhata hai. How to sit down to relieve yourself. Now if he was one of us, one of the modern Muslims, the apologists, they would have shied away and said, yaar kya kare yaar. But no, Salman Farsi was not apologist. He said, he drew his chest out and he said, हमारे नबी ने हमको सब कुछ सिखाया है, इस्तिंजा भी सिखाया है, हमको हुक्म दिया है कि इस्तिंजा में जाओ, तो don't face qibla, don't turn your back towards it, and don't use less than 3 stones, and don't do istinja with your right hand, do your istinja with your left hand. क्या है इसमें? ये अच्छी चीज़ है, सिखाना चाहिए ये चीज़ें भी. You should keep these things. So we learn from there that never feel sheepish. Also, among the adab mentioned over here is, try to protect yourself from urine drops and splashes, because the hadith mentioned over here that azabul qabr is from ghibat and bawl. 2 people were being punished in their graves. One was not careful with regards to urine drops. The other used to backbite people. So you have to be careful, clean the drops properly. Make sure your underwear, your clothing doesn't remain napak. Otherwise your salat will be affected. If there's drops there, it's napak, your salat won't be counted. Or it might be makruh if it's little. If it's more, then salat won't be counted. And then among the adab of istinja, don't do istinja if you're outside in a place where someone might be passing by and they see the istinja there, they might be disturbed by it and they might curse you. So Huzur said, stay away from the 2 places where curse can take place. One is in the middle of the road and the other is under a shade, because someone would come to sit there for relaxing and you've urinated there or defecated there, and they will curse the person who did that. So these are some of the adab. Don't do istinja with your left hand. Right hand. Do istinja with your left hand. When you go in istinja, if you're wearing a ring, take the ring off. If it has name of Allah on it, Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam's ring had Muhammad Rasul Allah written on it. So he would take it off when he would go for istinja. So these are some of the adab. If you're outside, when should we read the dua? Bismillah, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal khaba'is. If you are in a toilet, then before you enter. But if you are outside, like sometimes we travel from Makkah to Medina, and along the route, the toilets are either dirty or full, so you have to go outside behind a tree or a rock or somewhere. So when you read the dua, so before you take off your clothes, before you lower your garment, you read the dua and then you sit down to relieve yourself. And the benefit of this dua is Allah puts a covering between you and the jinns and shayateen, and they will not be able to approach you. You will get special protection from Allah whilst you are relieving yourself. So these are some of the adab mentioned over here in this bab. So we will go over the hadith inshallah. First hadith is of Sayyidina Abu Ayyub al-Ansari radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِذَا أَتَيْتُمُ الْغَائِطِ, when you go to the istinja khana and place of istinja, toilet, washroom, then do not turn your faces towards the qibla, neither turn your backs towards it. However, face the east or the west. First of all, إِذَا أَتَيْتُمُ الْغَائِطِ, غَائِط means al-mutma'innu min al-ardh, soft earth, low earth. Now when they would go for istinja, they would go at a distance and look for some ditch, because there is soft sand in there as well, and because you are hidden from those who are passing by. So this is why al-gha'it means low ditch, soft land, and from there al-gha'it is now used for lavatory, toilet, where you go to relieve yourself, istinja khana. So when you go to the istinja place, then do not face the Qibla and do not turn your back towards it. Istiqbal, istidbar, walakin sharriqu aw gharribu, face the east or the west. Medina Shareef is up north and Makkah Mukarramah is down south. So Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, either face the east or the west, so your face isn't towards Makkah, nor is your back towards Makkah. This is among the adab. Now what is the hukum of istiqbal, istidbar? Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi took this hadith into consideration and he said, istiqbal and istidbar are both najais. One riwayat of Hanafiya say this makruh tahrimi. So is that barabar? मैं भूल कर दूँ इसला कर दूँ. भूलते ही है. Hazrat Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi alayhi is of this opinion. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal's one riwayat is also this. Imam Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi is of the opinion that istiqbal, istidbar is not allowed if you are in an open area, Sahara. But if you are in a building surrounded by four walls, then there is no harm. Because the istiqbal will be when you are outside. But Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullahi said, no. Istiqbal, istidbar will happen facing whether you are inside a building or outside a building. So, facing the Qibla or turning your back towards the Qibla is not allowed whether you are outside or whether you are in a building. So, we should try our best if we make construct a toilet in our homes to check first which side is Qibla and avoid facing the Qibla or turning the back towards the Qibla. Now what if someone lives in a council house and there's toilet already facing the Qibla? What can he do? Abu Ayyub Ansari radiyallahu anhu in the riwayat said, one riwayat, فَأَتَيْنَا الشَّامِ فَوَجَدْنَا مَرَاحِيزْ بُنِيَتْ قِبَلَ الْقِبْلَةِ فَنَنْحَرِفُ عَنْهَا وَنَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهِ. We came to Sham and we saw that the toilets were made facing the Qibla, so we just turn around and seek forgiveness from Allah. Meaning, don't face directly, just turn a little bit towards the right or the left, so you're not directly facing the Qibla. And this reminds me of something which Hazrat Mufti Taqi Usmani Sahab has written in Dars Tirmidhi. I read it. Hazrat Mufti Sahab said that, when you're praying namaz, right, you don't have to face Ayn Qibla. If you're a little bit out, you're still facing the Qibla. About 45 degrees, 22.5 on this side, that side. You will still be classed as facing the Qibla because you're facing the direction of Makkah Mukarramah. This is when you're praying namaz, you will still be classed as facing the Qibla if you are facing that direction, even if you are a bit out. But with regards to istinja, Hazrat said you will only get guna if you're facing direct Qibla. If you're a little bit out, you won't be classed as facing Qibla. This is taken from that hadith, فَنَنْحَرِفُ عَنْهَا وَنَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهِ. We just turn away a little bit and seek Allah's forgiveness. So, based on that, Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi took the lead from Abu Ayyub Ansari's opinion that, we should try your best to avoid it. Even if you're in a building, don't face Qibla, turn towards the left or right a little bit. And if you're making it, then make it towards the other direction. And don't make your toilet, if you're constructing it, building it, don't make it facing the Qibla, face it in the other direction. Some of my friends went to Medina Shareef for Umrah. And he said, Maul Sahab, hotel mein kya to Hiddu Qibla ka bhi toilet. तो Hiddu दौड़ो नीचे. दौड़े हम तो नीचे कि भाई मेरा room change करो. I don't want this room. I said, why? The toilet is facing the Qibla. I said, no, we can't give you another room. So he said, I had to fight with him. And then he gave me another room. I checked on the Qibla, toilet wasn't facing Qibla. I said, but यहाँ मक्का मदीना में आकर के ऐसा. So even if you go there, try your best. If you can get another room. If you can't, then just turn a little bit here and there when you're doing the istinja. This is the hukum of لا تستقبلوا القبلة ولا تستدبروها. Now, Shaykh Imam Muhyi Sunnah al-Baghawi rahmatullah alayhi, the author of Masabih Sunnah, is a Shafi'i scholar. And what do Shafi'iyya say? That istiqbal and istidbar, facing or turning the back, is only outside in an open area. in buildings it's allowed. So this hadith of Abu Ayyub Ansari goes against the Shafi'i Mazhab. So Sahibi Kitab Muhyi Sunnah has to give answer to that. So he says, هذا الحديث في الصحراء وأما في البنيان فلا بأس. This hadith is regarding open areas. As for buildings and constructions, there is no harm in there because of the hadith of Ibn Umar. The second hadith of today's lesson is Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma saying, ارتقيت فوق بيت حفصة لبعض حاجتي فرأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقضي حاجته مستدبر القبلة مستقبل الشام متفق عليه. I climbed onto the roof of the house of Hafsa radiyallahu anha for some need. I saw Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam relieving himself whilst his back was towards the Qibla and he was facing Sham, Syria, north. Now, irtaqa yartaqi, to climb over, to go, raqi yarqa ruqyatan chadna. Fawqa bayti Hafsa. Hafsa is al-Mu'mineen. Hafsa bint Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anha, the sister of Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu. Now, in some riwayat, fawqa baytin lana is mentioned. And over here is bayti Hafsa. Hazrat Shaykh Yunus Sahib said, Jama Bainal Riwayatain is that Majazan, he called Hafsa's house his own house. Or number two, when say Ummul Mu'mineen Hafsa radiyallahu anha died, Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu got her house as miras. He inherited it. So when he was narrating this hadith, he was the owner of the house. That's why he said Fawqa Baytin Lana. And when he said Bayt Hafsa, it was bi'atibari makan. This is how both riwayat can be combined. Liba'di hajati, some need. I saw Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam fulfilling his need, and his back was towards Qibla, facing Sham. Now, this hadith will go against Hanafiya. What do Hanafiya answer for this? Number one, this hadith is fi'li, and Abu Ayyub Ansari's hadith is qawli. And when qawl and fi'l, saying and action, contradict, then the rule is we take the qawl, not the fi'l. And that is because the fi'l has possibility of khususiyyat. That this could be just specially for him, not for others. And when he said do this or don't do this, then that's for everyone. Number two, Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu just took a slight glance at Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was in a cordoned area, relieving himself. There was no roof on the toilet where he was sitting. So Abdullah ibn Umar got on the roof and he saw, but he just got a slight glance and then he turned his face away. And slight glance can make mistake. So there could be some mistake in there. He might not be exactly facing Sham and keeping his back towards Makkah and Qibla. There could be a little bit out here and there. So we will not be able to take dalil from this. We'll take dalil from the first riwayat. We go move on to the next hadith. وعن سلمان رضي الله عنه قال نهانا يعني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن نستقبل القبلة لغائط أو بول أو أن نستنجي باليمين أو أن نستنجي بأقل من 3 أحجار. Sayyiduna Salman Farsi رضي الله عنه says, Nabi Kareem صلى الله عليه وسلم forbade us from facing the Qibla for defecating or urinating, and that we do istinja with right hand, or that we do istinja with less than 3 stones. أن نستقبل القبلة لغائط أو بول. Hazrat Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dehlavi Rahmatullahi alayhi has written in Hujjatullah al-Baligha that Qibla is from Sha'airullah, and ta'zeem of Sha'airullah is min taqwa al-qulub, revering the landmarks of Allah, those things which are specially connected to Allah, is due to taqwa and piety in the heart. Now, what's in the heart cannot be seen. So the actions are actions inform us of what's in the heart. Now, whether a person has respect of Qibla or not will be portrayed by his actions. This is why we have been told not to spit towards the Qibla. من تفل تجاه القبلة جاء يوم القيامة وتفله بين عينيه. If someone spits towards the Qibla, he will come on the day of Qiyamah and his spit will be on his forehead. And this is why istinja towards Qibla is also mamnu', because it is a sign of disrespect of the Qibla. He said, this is why one riwayat said that in Musnad Bazzar, that من جلس يبول قبالة القبلة فذكر فانحرف عنها لم يقم من مجلسه حتى يغفر له. If someone sat urinating facing the Qibla, then he remembered and he immediately turned around, then he will not stand up from that place before gaining forgiveness from Allah. Allah will forgive him because of this respect and this adab which he showed to the Qibla, that he immediately turned around. So, istiqbal and istidbar of Qibla is connected to the ta'zeem of sha'airullah. And we have to respect Ka'batullah Shareef and the direction of Kaaba Shareef. We can't even spit towards it, let alone doing istinja facing it. This is why Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, number one adab, don't face Qibla or don't turn your backs towards Qibla when you are defecating or urinating. أو أن نستنجي باليمين, don't do istinja with left hand. Again, istinja with right hand. Don't do istinja with right hand. Do it with left hand. Okay. Now, meaning wiping, taking the stone or the tissue and wiping the organ, it should be done with the left. And isti'anat with the yameen would be possible, because when you're using lota for water, you'll have to use the right hand. So you can hold the lota in your right hand and wash yourself with the left. But you shouldn't do reverse by washing yourself and cleaning your peshab or paykhana with the right hand. That should be avoided. Right hand is for good things and left hand is for bad things. Nabi Al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiyallahu anha said, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يحب التيمن في شأنه كله في طهوره وترجله وتنعله. He liked using the right hand for all good things, for wuzu and for wearing his shoes and slippers and for combing his hair. He will always start with the right. And this is the hukm of using the right for good things. You know, our Hazrat, he told us that even when you want to wipe your nose, people normally wipe with the right hand. He said, no, this is good, not good thing, so you wipe with your left hand. Hazrat showed us, take the tissue in your right hand and wipe your nose with your, take the tissue in your left hand and wipe it with your left hand, not with the right hand. This is the adab. A small adab. We should try and learn these adab. So, istinja should not be done with the right hand, it should be done using the left hand. And also, nastanjiya bi aqalla min thalathati ahjar. Over here, Hazrat Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah alayhi's research is that this hadith is for wujub, and you have to use at least 3 stones. But Hanafiyya say this is for sunniyat. It's sunnah to use 3 stones. If there was no najasat there and you use just 1 stone, that's enough as well. Because when you urinate, then the najasat does not exit, does not spread from the place of its makhraj. Then you don't need to wash everything, you don't need to wipe everything. So you just wipe that place, that's enough. In fact, Sheikh Yunus Sahib in his Anwarul Mishkat mentioned the hukm of istinja. And he said, istinja, if the najasat does not spread, then istinja in itself is only sunnah. Imam Shafi Rahmatullah said istinja is wajib. But Imam Abu Hanifa Rahmatullah said no. If it's, sometimes there's no drops here and there. Even, with defecating, sometimes you are constipated. And, you let istinja like Bakri's droppings. So if it's hard and there's no najasat there, even if you wipe with the tissue, there's nothing on it. So Imam Abu Hanifa Rahmatullah said, istinja in itself is sunnah. If the istinja spreads, then it becomes wajib. And if it's more than 1 dirham's place, then salah will not be valid with it. If it's less than that, salah will be makruh. So istinja over here with less than 3, Imam Shafi said you can't do it. Imam Abu Hanifa said, as long as you clean yourself, you're alright, no matter. Sometimes you can't clean yourself with 3, you have to use more. Like sometimes someone has diarrhea, you can't clean yourself with 3. Even with more than 3, you have to use water. So in that case, you have to use water and clean yourself thoroughly. So main thing is al-inqa, not the amount of stones which you use. This is Imam Abu Hanifa Rahmatullah's research. बस एक और हदीस पढ़ लेते हैं, फिर आगे पढ़ लेंगे. Addition to this is awan nastanjiya bi raji'in aw bi 'adhbin, rawahu Muslim. Don't do istinja with cow's dung, nor with bones. Raji' gobar वो कहते हैं. It's from raja, because لأنه رجع من الطهارة إلى النجاسة. When the cow ate the grass, it was park and clean. But it went into the stomach and it turned into dung. That's why it's called raji'. So raji' means cow's dung. Now when it dries out, right, don't do istinja with it because it has spikes in there and you could injure your anus. So don't do istinja with cow's dung. Secondly, second reason for it is, one riwayat says that the cow's dung becomes food for the animals of the jinns, and the bones become food for the jinns. So Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, don't do istinja with a bone because the jinns might eat it, and nor with the dung because it will be food for the animals of the jinns. So that's another reason. So another reason for azm is because azm is, haddi, bone, has sticky substance on it. And because of that stickiness, the najasat could spread. So he said, don't do istinja with a cow's dung or with a bone. Rawah Muslim. Finishing off last hadith, then we'll inshallah finish off. وعن أنس رضي الله عنه قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا دخل الخلاء يقول اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الخبث والخبائث متفق عليه. When Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam would enter the private place to relieve himself, he would say, O Allah, I seek your refuge from khubuth and khaba'ith. Khubuth is plural of khabith, and khaba'ith is plural of khabithatun. Now, khaba'ith means filth. Now, what is meant by khubuth and khaba'ith, filthy? One interpretation is that khubuth is male shayateen and khaba'ith is female shayateen. So I seek your refuge from both types of shayateen, whether they are male or female. Number 2, khubuth is plural of khabith, which means over here ma'asi, sins. And khaba'ith is for the shayateen. So I seek your refuge from doing anything khabith and ma'asiyat and sin inside the toilet. Because one could do some sin in the toilet, messing around with the private parts, Allah forbid. So I don't want to sin whilst I'm there. And I seek your refuge from khaba'is, from the shayateen. Both meanings are mentioned by Hazrat Sheikh Yunus Sahib in his Shara. We'll, I think, conclude over here, and we'll request Hazrat Sufi Sahib to make dua before our nashta, before ishraq, और उसके बाद नाश्ता करेंगे. सूफी साहब दुआ फरमा दें बच्चियों के लिए. यहाँ पर कुछ नसीहत भी करते हैं सूफी साहब, आपकी शागिर्द हैं यहाँ सब, लंकास्टर में आपके पास पढ़ी हुई हैं, वो खुश हो जाएंगे अगर आप थोड़ी नसीहत करेंगे तो. दुआ करें. جو جی تھوڑی نو کر دو نہیں بھائی اس کا ذمہ دار کون ہے کرو نا تم نصیحت کرو میری نصیحت کرو ہاں میں خوش دیجیے گا نصیحت کرو ہر لگے گا محنت کی پڑھ جو جلدی پڑھ جو بولو
جو اللہ تعالیٰ ہم سب کو علم نافع عطا فرمائے اور اللہ تعالیٰ اس کو عمل کرنے کی توفیق عطا فرمائے تو عمل ہے عمل اگر کریں گے تو اللہ تعالیٰ علم میں بھی برکتیں عطا فرمائے دعا کر لیتے ہیں والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين
آمين
ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار
آمين
ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار
آمين
ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار
آمين
اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وعملا متقبلا وشفاء من كل داء اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما الحمد لله على كل حال ونعوذ بالله من حال أهل النار ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة في الدنيا والآخرة يا ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان واجعلنا هداة المهتدين اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان واجعلنا هداة المهتدين اللهم زينا بزينة الإيمان واجعلنا هداة المهتدين اے اللہ اس مدرسے کو اے اللہ اور مدرسے والوں کو اے اللہ پڑھنے پڑھانے والوں کو اے اللہ قبول فرما اے اللہ ہم پڑھنے پڑھانے کو اے اللہ ہمارے لیے اور پوری قوم کے لیے نجات کا ذریعہ بنا اے اللہ جو اس میں محنت کر رہا ہے اے اللہ ان کی محنتوں کو قبول فرما اے اللہ جو اس میں محنتیں کر رہے ہیں اور ان کی محنتوں کو قبول فرما اے اللہ جتنی بھی رکاوٹیں ہیں ان رکاوٹوں کو دور فرما اے اللہ جتنی بھی رکاوٹیں ہیں ان رکاوٹوں کو دور فرما اے اللہ ہمارے خیر سے اس شہر والوں کو اور یا اللہ متمتع فرما اے اللہ ہمارے شر سے ان کی حفاظت فرما ان کے شر سے ہماری حفاظت فرما یا اللہ ہمارے گناہوں کو معاف فرما اے اللہ ہمارے گناہوں کو معاف فرما اے اللہ تو ہمیں اپنا بنا اے اللہ غیر اللہ سے چھوڑا اے اللہ ہمیں اپنا بنا غیر اللہ سے چھوڑا یا اللہ حضور صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کا اتباع زندگی اور زندگی کے ہر شعبے میں نصیب فرما اے اللہ اے اللہ اپنا ذوق اپنا شوق اپنی محبت اپنی معرفت نصیب فرما یا اللہ جب تک زندگی ہے اتباع سنت کے ساتھ اسلامی زندگی عطا فرما جب موت ہو یا اللہ موت کا وقت ہے تو یا اللہ کلمے کے ساتھ اے اللہ ایمانی موت عطا فرما اللہم اقسم لنا من خشیتک ما تحول بیننا وبین معاصیک ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا اللهم متعنا بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا واجعل ثارنا على من ظلمنا وانصرنا على من عادانا ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا غاية رغبتنا ولا مبلغ علمنا ولا تسلط علينا من لا يرحمنا ومن لا يخافك إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين
برحمتک جزاکم اللہ. بھائی 2 رکعت اشراق کی نماز پڑھ لو، انشاءاللہ مقبول ہے، عمرے کا ثواب ملے گا. وضو تو ہے ہی ہمارا. اتنے میں آپ دسترخوان تیار کرو. فیصل چائے پلاؤ. یہیں پڑھنا ہے کہ دوسری جگہ ہے؟ اشراق پڑھ لو، انشاءاللہ مقبول ہے، عمرے کا ثواب ملے گا.